UFC fighter will do it?
Are we fighting or is this tag? I don't understand. Welcome to Thicc Boy Fight Club. I'm your Balkan boy.
I'm Tyson the Beast.
And our guest today is the Dogg Pound Master, Donny Mignon. Before we get started, the Thicc Boy restaurant shout out. So we shout out a restaurant that you love to eat at, like a local spot. For me, it's going to be Woody's Burgers, because that was a delicious bison burger. It's right here on Tyson Street, on Lakeshore, Etobicoke,
Let them know.
Browns Line. Woody's Burgers, fire burgers. They got turkey burgers too, and like 100% grass-fed beef burgers.
It's fire.
Fire.
My spot, another spot in Lakeshore, Etobicoke, Kaio Sushi. I had it a few nights ago. We have so many sushi spots in this place. Like I keep telling myself, Simon Sushi, shout out to y'all again anyway. I'm not cheating y'all fully, but everyone keeps telling me about all these different spots in our area, so I've been trying to find all the different sushi spots. They had a fire dragon roll at this place. That's how I remembered it. Good size serving. So there's another good spot here in Lakeshore, Etobicoke, the best food in the city.
Sir, what do you like to eat?
Man, I eat out every day.
Amen.
My mom just came back now, so I'm going to get some home-cooked meals. But I like Thai food, you know what I mean? So there's a few places around the city, but most importantly, I found an amazing West Indian restaurant. It's called Baker's Jerk. It's at Steeles and Mississauga Road.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying it is the best one I've been to so far is because the food is always fresh, and they always have chicken breasts. You ever go to, you know what I'm saying?
Don't get me started.
Yeah, they always have chicken. They have jerk chicken breast, stewed chicken breast. They have all, but that restaurant there, it just, their stuff is fresh, man.
Baker's Jerk.
You're not running out at 6,
I'm
7
going
o'clock.
to go there tonight.
No, I'm telling you, man. It's right at Steeles, just west of Mississauga Road. And I'm not lying. I'm West Indian. I'm going to tell you guys, this is probably the best West Indian restaurant I've ever ate at.
I'm there.
Wow.
I'm there tonight.
I need your opinion because I know I need to hear that. That's interesting.
And being West Indian, you know, I'm not just talking Jamaican and I'm from,
everything.
I'm from
Trinidad,
Grenada,
Grenada.
everything, you know what I mean? So food's good, man.
Yeah, I'm about to try that too.
Well, it's a great honor to have an OG of martial arts here as a guest on our show.
Big boy OG.
Donny has been around. He's seen kickboxing and Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai and MMA all come to Canada, and he does the traditional martial arts. And he's the guy I go to learn my Taekwondo kicks, to learn all my spinning hook kicks, my side kicks, all that good stuff. Sir, why don't you just tell us how you got started in martial arts and just your journey?
Wow. Well, the story is I got into martial arts because my mom thought that I needed some discipline, because back in my days spanking was available. And then when the broomstick broke on my back and my mom hit me, she says, "Oh man, you gotta go."
I need somebody else to do it to him.
That's so funny. Has that happened to you? Because everyone had that moment.
Got big quick where she was like, I need somebody else to put in.
Well, realistically, my mom and my master, big up to Master Avril Wright. No matter where you're there, he's in Calgary, Alberta right now. He's a sheriff there, actually. He was in the army, and I have to give him thanks, man. Most people always forget where they come from. I'm still in contact with him. We still talk. He still comes and visits me. But for my Taekwondo, if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. I love my dad. My dad passed away and everything just a couple years back, but that man taught me life. You know what I'm saying? And the type of life that he taught me, I can pass it on to others, because he was very passionate, and he made me a very passionate young man. And if it wasn't for him and the martial arts, I'd probably be dead or in jail. You know what I mean? I started off in Taekwondo, won hundreds of Taekwondo competition, Alberta Championship, Vancouver, out west, pretty much all over the world. I've been fighting Taekwondo. And then I got into kickboxing. And when I got into kickboxing, everything a boxer was doing with their hands, I was doing with my legs. And it changed the game. And I started winning. In Taekwondo, you get medals. Kickboxing, you get money and trophies.
And you get to knock people out.
Well, in Taekwondo, you could knock people out too.
Because you did the old school Taekwondo.
Yeah, I did old school. I still do old school Taekwondo. The thing is, things change often in the martial arts world because there's no, I would say that there's no legal way for someone to come and check out all the schools that's around the world and stuff like that, right? So sometimes you're at a martial arts school, if you don't know anything about martial arts, they'll teach you what they think you should know. So they don't give you the full-fledged of what martial is all about. My first black belt test lasted a week. And that means getting up early in the morning. Calgary, there's a river called the Bow River. There's a spot where you have to cross the river early in the morning.
It's like Dragon Ball Z training. Yeah.
It's cold.
Like best of the best Korea training.
You're doing 500 kicks, and when I say 500 kicks a leg, I mean kicks. I don't mean tapping the bag. I mean hitting the bag. You know, back in those days, the bag at our gym was full of sand.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So it's like nothing that you'd ever see today, because they'd probably call it abuse. Unless you come to Dogg Pound.
Come to Dogg Pound, get abused.
You know what I mean? But you've been around me for a while as well. You know what I mean? We have a great reputation in the sense of what we do, but we're also hated by a lot of other martial arts schools too, because they're not being real. I go to every tournament, karate tournament, kickboxing tournaments, MMA tournaments, Jiu-Jitsu tournaments, Taekwondo tournaments, boxing tournaments. For as long as it's fighting, we go. As long as we're allowed to go, because it doesn't take much to change and learn the rules of different types of styles, right? So I remember when I first started out here, I started out in the park. I was training one night, and there's a park by my house, and I usually go there at 11 o'clock to train from 11 until 1. But 2 weeks after, I was just living in Brampton, and my door knocked, and this Yugoslavian man came to my door. He knocked the door,
he said,
right? And he's like, "Are you the guy that trains in the park?" And I got defensive. I said, "Who the hell wants to know?"
How you found my house?
I'm like, "What the hell?"
How you get here?
And then I saw 2 kids stuck their head by his leg, right? 'Cause you know, European people, they got some height to them.
Other than me.
Well, you know, but you make it up in fighting, right?
Big spirit guy.
But yeah, and he says, "Are you the guy?" And they go, "Yeah, that's him. They started pointing, but their house faced the back of the park, so the back of the house, and the kids' room was there. So I guess they must have seen me training there, and they must have told their dad because they wanted me to teach them, right? And back in the days, I was probably like maybe 20 at that time.
Oh, you were young.
Yeah, I was probably like 20, and because my mom and dad, and when my mom moved out here, and I was living in Calgary with my dad, and I told him yeah, and then he's asked, "Can you teach him?" And at that time, I had no time to teach anybody, and I was getting ready for a fight because I was leaving in 2 months. I just came for the summer, and then they kept coming back to my house, the kids, because no one didn't know where I live, and it was an Indian kid named Hardeep, and the Yugoslavian kid, his name was Steve, and he has a brother named Sasha, and I decided I'm going to teach them one day. So I said, "Okay, meet me at the park on Sunday." And the park is right by my house. Up to today, I go there. The park's off the street called Phallon, close by the courthouse in Brampton. And I trained there for about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We were out there, and they were just started grade 9 at Turner Fenton.
Oh, so they weren't kids like that. They were high school.
Kids. So I trained them on Sunday, and I told them, "Okay, come back on Monday around 7 o'clock." When I drove, because I have to pass the park when I was driving by, and I saw a whole bunch of kids in the park, and I thought these guys were there to play soccer or baseball. They went and told all their friends, bro. And now I go there to teach these 3 kids.
Yeah.
And then there's about, no word of a lie, there's about 25, 30 kids at the park waiting.
It's like Cobra Kai. That's like literally.
And it's not even a joke, because I have the pictures, I got the videos, you know, I got the VHS.
The classic.
The VHS.
Classic.
I got the VHS video to show it, and it's like.
And is that, would you say, the birth of Mignon martial arts, Dogg
Pound
MMA?
That was the birth of Mignon's martial arts, because then I trained them, and one of them came and said there was a competition going on. At that time, I never been to a karate tournament in my life, right? And I had to leave. So the tournament was in September. It was in Orangeville. So back in those days, there would be like Chameleon's Karate, Jocelyn's Karate, like all those schools, right? And
Shout out Jeff Jocelyn.
yes, man,
That's
100%,
right, Angelo,
man,
back in all them
100%.
came from
And his dad that passed, legend, you know what I mean? So these guys wanted to go to the tournament. So I had 3 months to train them. Those guys didn't know nothing. Trained them. I took about 20 of them to the tournaments. I came home with 13 trophies. And back in those days, those trophies were like 6 feet tall.
The big ones, the old school ones.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And the ones who didn't get a trophy got disqualified. Right? Because I've never been to a karate tournament before.
So did they knock somebody out like in the Olympics? And
Not
then
even just
lose?
knocking out, just hitting too hard.
Hitting too hard,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
You're not allowed to hit too hard.
Well, that's
It's
what
point.
happened in the Olympics.
Yes,
So okay,
100%.
so that's a perfect transition to what you're kind of talking about. What was your opinion of that? Because that was something I wanted to ask you
Okay.
when I found your come on was right away above
You
that
know,
story.
karate just gets introduced to the Olympics,
And
from-
that's everyone's
and that's
introduction.
Everything changes. These guys are not remembering where they come from because people are very soft nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reason why they're soft is because of society, but 90% is their parents. The parents is allowing them to be soft, and there's no way if the kick was blocked and something happened, then you would know it would be excessive force. But there was no block.
He just got hit.
You got hit because you should not be into the Olympics. They should not have sent that guy to the Olympics. You know what I mean? He wasn't ready. Because if you're fighting Olympic status like that, and if you guys go back and slow the kick down and watch it, the kick was not even
hard.
a hard kick.
It doesn't take much though.
No, nobody. But
When it touches that chin.
But
That's what I've learned.
with that being said, it's like the guy was not prepared. I can punch you in your face right now as hard as I can. If you expect that punch,
Yeah.
most likely I'm not going to.
But it's the ones that you don't see.
It's the one that you don't see, right? So the reason why I said that is because you're fighting Olympic status. You know what I mean? You're fighting Olympic status. That
That's
means
like the highest
you
stat.
have to be that. There's nothing higher than that.
But that guy had won a bunch. Like he was in the finals
He
for a
did,
reason.
but there's always kryptonite for someone,
yeah.
right? But you should not penalize.
The guy, yeah.
You should not penalize the person for throwing an amazing kick, right? In the
Timing
Olympics
and
to
everything.
Show what martial arts is
yeah,
all about.
what real
To
karate
me,
is.
it hurt karate. I was like, this is not the time for karate to.
Well, the same thing I was telling you.
It was
about my
bad
guys.
look,
My
man.
guys would be hitting guys, and I don't even think it's excessive because I have to every time I have to tell them to watch the power. But they were getting disqualified. But it's how they brought the sport down. You know what I mean? North America is an amazing place. Ontario is an amazing place, but it's unfortunate we have some shitty martial arts schools up here.
Well, isn't the irony of speed creates power? So how do you catch somebody with something they don't see without speed? How do you hit somebody without speed? Without?
I can do it, but
I'm not letting you kick me in the chin and hope it's
no, but
I'll take your word for it.
Okay, no, but you have to have that.
Well, show for the people.
You have to have that control, right?
Yeah.
But you're fighting. The world is watching
It's
you.
the biggest fight of his life.
Yeah,
I
you know what I
just
mean? The
don't-
world
and-
is watching
And
you.
wasn't he losing on the scorecard
Yes.
or something like? I just didn't. It
the
was
guy
so
was
confusing.
even said they took the points away from him, but even said they wanted to disqualify him. They shouldn't have awarded the medal to someone who lost, and he was losing by points anyways.
I don't get the idea of
That made
being
no
a
sense.
disqualification.
But even Taekwondo, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna be straight. Even Taekwondo in the Olympics to me looks like a joke. These guys are just tapping.
But isn't it fair to say that like somebody's physiology could be one where other guy might have taken that kick and been fine? You don't know if that guy was over how hard he was trained, if he already was concussed. Like we don't know why the kick not like for all you know, that's something that another
It was just a
person-
perfect kick.
Yeah, or he doesn't have good chin. Like can we pretend that some people can take punishment that others can't? Like how
That's
do we know it
100%.
was that excessive just because he wasn't all the way
What's
asleep.
excessive? It's okay to knock people out in boxing in the Olympics, but you can't knock them out in karate.
he wasn't
Is this,
asleep.
are
He
we
was
talking?
awake.
No, he
Are we
was
talking
awake.
combat
He
sports?
wasn't
Are we?
knocked out. He got dropped.
Are we
I would say
talking
he got
combat
dropped.
So I heard
sports?
people
Are we playing
accuse that he
tag?
pulled Aljamain. I heard people accuse him of knowing the rules. He was like, and if you know the rules and and that just happened,
Oh man,
bro. If a UFC fighter
are
will
we
do it,
are we fighting or is this tag? I don't understand.
But, okay,
well, you
so-
see my point. If a UFC fighter will do it for a world championship, is it hard to believe an Olympic karate guy would do it? I heard
No.
somebody accuse him of that. I heard somebody say that the way you
anything
would know
is
better than me.
possible. Anything is possible. But as fighters, gentlemen, because all three of us here are fighters, right? There's always going to be a good day and a bad day. But when you're at certain levels, right? They didn't just say, okay, you're going to Olympics. They must have had competitions, trials, all that stuff for them to go, right?
He must be a regional champion, a national champion.
He's national champion. He's Olympics.
Yeah.
He's the national guy.
And you're fighting guys who are at the same level as you or could be better than you. So
You should be fighting at your best.
I think the decision that they made with the Karate Association, my personal belief, that shouldn't have been done like that. Because
was this the first time it was in the Olympics, you said?
First time.
So this is another thing that can be questioned. Like, how do we know the guy that did it to him isn't a phenom? Like, I heard your point about the Olympics thing, but like sometimes you have the Lomachenkos of a sport where they go to, every time they go to the Olympics, it's known. Sadalayev from Russia. We see this. How do we know that kid just isn't the one? And like, there's no, like, it's just such a weird way to introduce a sport to the world. And I was like, man, the only people who are going to talk about it are going to be MMA podcasts. You're not going to see karate podcasts. Notice how you don't see Wonder Boy talking about it on his YouTube. It's embarrassing. I was very interested in your opinion because I remember like Brendan Shaw, all these guys. Yeah,
I don't think it should have went that way. And like, definitely, it's high level martial. When you hear the word martial arts, what do you think about?
I think of combat sports. I think people getting knocked out. I think like using your skill sets to inflict as much damage on somebody and get them out of there as possible.
I think of chess with your body.
I agree.
I think of chess with your body. That's what martial arts is to me.
I agree exactly what both of you guys are saying, and I add to it the discipline, the respect, the confidence level.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, with all what you guys said and what I said, that's martial arts.
Yeah,
so,
man.
Controlled violence.
If you but it doesn't even need to be controlled because it's you're training for that fight. On the street, in the clubs, it's different. Your
life's on the line.
Your life's on. You're training differently. But in competition, there is referees, there's your coach, there's doctors. You know what I mean? There's so many things there that is there to help you. But you're trying to beat me, I'm trying to beat you. There's no way that you should take that gold medal and love it. You won that.
There's no honor in there.
No, there's no honor there. But the Karate Association of the Olympics Association for the Karate Association, they should look into that because realistically, if you are a martial artist or you're an Olympic watcher or you like to watch fights, would you watch karate again in the Olympics?
No.
Knowing that, no.
It's weird because that knockout was clean. Like I kind of want to see what it's like. So you know what's crazy about what you're saying is he was allowed to kick him in the face, right? That's a legal move.
Yeah, legal.
So you know in wrestling, in freestyle wrestling, because you can't spike people in folk style. If you do that to someone, they get hurt on a slam. They win.
Yeah, it's TKO injury. It's TKO injury.
Yeah, and so the fact that wrestling had like that blew my mind when I was telling. I was like, yeah, but in wrestling, if I slam you legally and you hurt yourself, that I get the gold medal.
That's like if in boxing. That's like if in boxing
I
I knocked you out and you were like, oh, you can't hit that hard.
Well, yeah, boxing's different because you know the goal's not. But even something like wrestling, where the goal isn't
What's the goal in karate?
Like
What's the goal in karate? Is it just to touch the guy?
Karate, you know what? We know what they change it now. They call it sport karate.
Exactly.
Right. So you know what I mean. So the rules are realistically, if that is the rules, there's no knockouts, right? But
how do you control that?
No, it can be controlled. I'm going to tell you this, right? You go to a karate tournament, you're punching. If you guys are there, punching sport karate tournaments. Or point system karate tournaments, and you'll see those guys get out there, pop, like this, and control it, right? But that's the sport of it. I can't teach the sport of martial arts. I teach people how to fight.
Yes.
I teach people how to fight so they can defend themselves inside the dog pound, outside on the street, or in competition.
But you know, as a kicking is so much more powerful than punching. Like, first time I ever knocked out somebody from a kick was a teammate of mine. It's because he leaned into my kick and I caught him with my knee. Wasn't trying to. So how do you control, like, the so many variables go into two people moving. A kick doesn't have to be intentionally hard to knock you out if you lean into it.
Neither does a jab.
Look at that spinning hook kick.
But a jab is like, there's so much more of a leg. I can be trying to aim with your foot. If you do the wrong thing, you can go into my knee and get knocked out. Is that on me?
Did you see the UFC knockout on the weekend, the spinning hook kick?
No, I didn't see
He only caught him with the foot.
Nasty.
He only caught him with the bottom of the foot. Out cold.
But that's what we just said before.
Doesn't have to be hard.
And he most likely didn't expect
He didn't see it.
Did not see it coming.
So
He switched stances and threw
it.
it.
It's so hard for a fighter to control the other guy. Like, if you do something stupid, how can I control?
You two can't go to karate tournaments. You guys are not going to do good.
Yeah,
but, right? You guys have never trained karate tournaments. You understand what I mean? But the karate fighters are training from the moment they walk into their dojo to fight karate. So they've been pulling kicks all their life.
Good point.
You understand what I mean?
And then when it's time to actually fight, they're gonna pull a kick.
They're gonna pull it, right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference. So if you find yourself in a position where you go in there and you're tapping the bag, tap, right? And you're getting it fast because you have muscle memory, right? Your leg never gets a pow that's just snapping there, right? That's how you're training, and you're thinking for them to be Olympic status, they've been training for more than 10 years.
Yeah.
So if you're doing that for more than 10 years, then that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to tap because you don't have it physically and mentally to throw that kick hard. People always say, "Well, I can throw it if it wasn't a real." No, you can't.
Well,
you
so
might
this
think
is
you're throwing it, but you're not throwing it.
this is a great. Hang on, this is a great.
Like, if
this
I'm
is a
kicking at something and I want to bring it back, if somebody leans into where my range wasn't expected, the kick's already gone. I can't control it if you do something weird.
Okay, so that's.
You know what I mean? Like,
Let me say something to you guys, right? If you do, I teach Thai boxing. What's the difference between Thai boxing and Muay Thai? Nothing. I can't say that I teach Muay Thai because I'm not a traditional Muay Thai person.
good point.
You understand what I'm saying? So, I do Taekwondo, and I do kickboxing, I do Taekwondo, and I do Thai boxing. All my kicks are Taekwondo kicks. See, every art has a different style of kicking. A kick's a kick, but every style has a different style. We've been kicking since we were in our mother's tummy. Does that mean it's a good kick?
No.
You know what I'm saying? So every style, most Muay Thai fighters kicks with their shins.
Yeah.
Right? Taekwondo guys kick with their foot. So I kick with my foot, I kick with my shin, I kick with my knee. You understand? But
you're throwing your bones and whatever lands and knocks somebody else.
And I've been kicking and breaking things and going through things all my life. So can I do point system fighting? I can do point system fighting at a level with my students because I'm the instructor. I can't go amp on them. But if I was to go do point fighting fully, which I've done already, I'm hurting people.
Yeah, because what's the weight class the highest in the Olympics?
It was heavyweight, no?
And what was is it the same as UFC? What's the 260? What is it?
I think it's like 240. You know?
Okay, so imagine 25-year-old Donny 240. Man, it's hard to believe if you're aiming at someone's head that even if you don't want to, these mistakes won't happen in a sport. It's just
You've almost killed people kicking.
Many times. I broke a guy's neck.
Yeah, like.
And I wanted to touch on this. This is why like your school has a reputation and is hated among the traditionalists kind of because you go to these tournaments and you don't teach your students to pull their kicks. So you know what I mean?
Well,
so like they do well in those tournaments, but
it's not I don't teach them to pull the kicks, right? It's what the others teach they don't teach their students. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
It's not your fault.
It's not what I don't teach them. It's what the other students, the other masters don't teach their students. You can throw a kick, throw a punch, and do damage. Most people, my mentality is, most people think a jab is to set stuff up. I don't think like that. I think a jab can stop you, cut you, knock you out.
If you throw it hard enough.
You know what I mean?
Well, maybe with your size.
Yeah.
When you're heavyweight, that's what you think.
Yeah.
Right? Boyan, it's a little different.
But at the same time too, it's like we all have different martial arts schools. Okay, so you say you're karate, you're taekwondo. I'll say that a different style of karate, right? So I'll say maybe you're Shotokan and Gujuru. There's different styles, right? Just like there's two different styles of taekwondo. There's South Korea and North Korea. South Korea is what's in the Olympics. WTF doesn't mean what now, right? It means World Taekwondo Federation.
What's the difference between that?
But you say
North?
WTF sometimes about them though still.
But that's what it is, right?
The North fights to kill.
Right? But and
fights
then the other one for Taekwondo
IT.
is North Korea, which is ITF.
ITF, yeah.
International Taekwondo Federation. Right? In WTF there's no punch into the face.
Oh, see, I'm right.
So they
Right?
became more specialized kicking.
In ITF, you can't punch in the face. Korea is Korea, but they're separated. It's North and South. So what happens is, which style is better? People are always asking me, which style? Because I teach multiple styles at our gym. They said, which style is better? My answer to them is, there's no style that's better. It all depends on the individual, right? Because I know guys that train, and they can do a lot of damage. But I also know guys that don't train, and still going to do a lot of damage to people, right?
Well, you're familiar with Wonder Boy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I remember he used to do a former karate where they were knocking people out. So I think the big reason that a guy like this young guy, like for all we know, this kid's long-term plan was to get a gold medal and become an MMA fighter. Like, because I've heard multiple people in the community say that now the MMA's become a big thing after the Wonder Boys, Machida, that now they're having this weird fork in the road. It's like, do I stay on the path where young kids now know I can't teach you bullshit because now they can go do jiu-jitsu, they can box. If I teach a kid and tell him he's the truth and he goes to MMA gym, he gets beat up. And now you're seeing a lot of karate gyms are kind of going back to that more.
Yeah, but guys
like a guy like Wonder Boy. How
but,
would a guy like Wonder Boy who did this his whole life, like now he's knocking people the fuck out with these kids.
Wonder Boy is what made me go see Donny. I saw him throwing hook kicks, and I was like, I'm gonna go learn hook kicks.
You have to be a special athlete to be able to fuse the two, where I can knock you out and then maybe go compete.
I don't think you have to be a special athlete. You have to know what you want. You know what I mean? Because there's people with different mentalities. You know, I remember I used to take my mom to some of my fights, and my mom would be crying, and I'm winning.
Because of the fight.
But she just don't like me fighting.
But to your point, Wonder Boy was such a high level karate guy and came to MMA.
But you got to think about it. If you guys might not know, but look at Billy Blanks. Billy Blanks have won a world title.
Legend.
You know what I'm saying?
Blanks.
Billy Blanks is to the point fighting. He did some kickboxing, did karate, but he could turn it on when he needs to turn it on because they train different back there. But nowadays, people are training not to get hurt or not to hurt people. If you go, I call these schools McDojos.
Yeah, I've heard that term.
You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it's like they're thinking of the money. We had a discussion before the podcast started. It's like, you're giving a 10-year-old, an 8-year-old a black belt. Like, why would you do that? But some parents, and I'm going to be straight, like some parents are just fucked up. Because my son's a black belt or my daughter's a black belt. Why do you think your son's a black belt? And the problem I'm having at Dogg Pound right now is like 7 schools that I know in Brampton are shut down. Right? So all these people are coming to me,
and they expect
me to make their kids keep their belt. And I'm not dissing them, but if you're a black belt, you can't even stand with my orange belt. There's a problem because there's 7 belts. And I'm not trying to be like mean or bossy, you know, but if I send my son or my
it's
daughter,
dangerous. It's like teaching bullshit.
Not good.
It's like teaching somebody to swim and you don't know how to swim, like you were saying, and then they drown. So these kids are gonna go thinking they know how to defend themselves, and they're gonna get themselves seriously hurt.
Because to your point, the kid who knocked him out, that looked like a kick that would knock somebody out. It looked like he kicked it that way. He looked young and athletic. I don't remember exactly where he was out of.
Adrenaline is there too.
Exactly.
And he's coming in.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. You're gonna feel that kick, and there's no way. If there was a block, and he did damage, then you can say it's been excessive.
Yeah.
But there was no block. You know what I mean? So it's like the same thing with ITF and WTF. I would rather get punched in the face than get kicked in the face.
Yeah. 100%.
You know what I mean? So but the difference is, it's like you should not penalize and show somebody that they should go sit down in the corner and shut up when they just did something amazing. And then the person who reward somebody who's
blew my mind when I saw that.
I don't like that, man.
But that's the same stuff that's going on when you really think about it, from the Olympics down to the small level, with the way they're giving out black belts to kids that just because they paid for it, and they're not, like that black belt program. Yeah,
the black belt program. I would never do that. I've never done that. People come and talk to me about it, and you know, like I had a lady came to the gym a couple of years back, and she thought I dissed her. And her husband called me trying to punk me, and I told him, I said, before I became a master, I was a street thug. So if you want to come check me, come check me. You know what I mean? But I'm straight with it, bro. I'm not.
That's a line.
You know what I mean? So it's just the way it is. But the problem is, she felt disrespected because they came for an intro, and when I did the intro, they wanted to keep the black belt. Both boys. It was a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old. But the black belt was not authentic, and she paid for that belt. And I said to her, I said, you weren't paying attention to your kids. She took it as an offense. Yeah. I didn't mean it to come out the way it sounded. I tried to explain.
Father would have taken that differently.
I said, you weren't paying attention to these kids in their martial arts class. She goes, why would you say that? I said, because these kids are not black belt material. You ought to call your son 3-4 times for him to come into my office. He's 12 years old, running around my 4-year like he's 4. You know what I'm saying? So a black belt doesn't mean you have to be a great fighter, because not everyone's going to be a great fighter, but you have to have the morals behind a black belt. You have to have the discipline, you have to have the confidence, you have to have the listening skills, you have to have the respect. You have to have some type of motion that you might not be a great fighter, but you could be a good instructor, a good teacher. These kids don't have any of that stuff. And when she told me the money that she paid for that black belt, she has 2 kids. It was like $12,000. And they got their black belt before 3 years. And they only went twice a week.
That's a joke.
You know what I mean? I don't do stripes at my gym. Jiu-Jitsu, you have to do stripes because that's the way that system is. That's a must. But
Makes sense.
There's no stripes. There's no stripes in my belts. It's white, yellow, orange, green, blue, red, black. There's no putting a piece of tape around it and charging $40 for that piece of tape. That doesn't make any sense. That's what these guys do. I know some martial arts schools right here in Ontario that are giving out, they're testing their kids for kickboxing, giving them shorts, like different color shorts.
Yeah, but they make like 20 grand a black belt test.
But that is not the correct ways. I would rather tell you that I'm going to charge you this, and once you start getting better to go in my advanced class, I'm going to raise the price, and if you have to go into my elite, I'm going to raise the price. But for me to charge you $20 or $50 or $100 in a month or two to give you a different color shorts. I mean, kickboxing don't have belts. Kickboxing don't have shorts. Muay Thai has it because that's the way they do it. But you can't follow a trend because it's there. Back in the days, everybody wanted to do Thai Bo. Everywhere.
The heck was Thai Bo again?
Thai Bo was Billy Blanks.
Yeah, the Billy Blanks
right?
kickboxing.
So when Billy Blanks came out,
he was the truth.
Right? And he was doing Thai Bo. Every school said that they teach Thai Bo. But you didn't need to get taught by Thai Bo because freaking Thai Bo came on the freaking VHS. They're selling for you to take home.
You don't remember Billy Blanks? Bald, jacked.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like people just go with the trend. I was doing MMA before MMA even came alive, and I don't care what anybody says, and you can do the research.
Yeah. How long has Dogg Pound been in?
All real martial artists were doing MMA first.
Dogg Pound's been open for 14 years at that location, but
that's before MMA was legal.
But not even that. I was doing Mignon's Martial Arts Academy 27 years ago.
It's like Valet too, though. Any real martial arts, you had to do MMA because that's how you be real black belts that did karate back in the day. You were doing MMA because you had to fight. For that. It was MMA.
And Donny's
to begin
school
with.
straddles like traditional martial arts. He goes to all the traditional tournaments, gets
MMA
hit on, and he tests his guys in MMA, kickboxing, Muay Thai. I've seen them at every single
What's
you
Steve's
said competitions.
Name, the homie?
Steve Botello. Yeah,
Shout out to homie, awesome fight at MFL. So give people information about before we wrap up where people can find you, where you're located, any social medias like.
Well, I'm old school. Any social media stuff you guys see on there is my office manager looks after that stuff. But
give it out, give it all out, give it all out.
Right, so it's Dogg Pound Martial Arts. You can catch that on Instagram. You can catch it on. We have a YouTube channel. You can Google my name, Donny Mignon, Master Mignon. That comes up. Website is www.doggpoundmma.ca.
Yeah.
Right. It's important that you guys understand, especially those of you guys that belongs to a gym now or who's thinking of going into a gym. Like, I want to big you guys up. You know what I mean? Because I was just telling Bodhi today when we were walking here, it's like, this is sick. You know what I'm saying? I gotta put this mic down. This is sick. You know what I'm saying? This is really sick. And I don't wear a lot of stuff. Everything I wear pretty much is Dogg Pound, but this is sick. And it's important that you support people who are real. However they came up with this name, this is real shit. You know what I'm saying? Because people don't have to pay and Google search and try to find. It doesn't make sense. So you have to be original. Whether this name is out there already or so, but people bring different flavor to different things.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? It's important that you as individuals, parents, students, former students, you know who is real. If you want to learn real martial arts, there's a few places to go. There's people that you guys can see. I have to big up my homie, Raph. The boxing club, you know what I'm saying? Soon. And I got to just let you guys know, it's like, we are old school. I will not go to new school. I will never go to new school because new school is no good. My goal one day is for one of my students to beat me. I'm 52. And I'm telling them, bring it. Bring it today, bring it tomorrow, bring it next year, 10 years from now. As long as they have that respect for me, then I know I've done my job. And the person that comes the closest to beating me is my son, Daniel. He probably can. He's probably just holding it back. He's probably feeling sorry for me. But he better not be feeling sorry for me because you'll still get it. You know what I'm saying? Right? But I have to give a lot of people in this world, in the martial arts world, a lot of credit and you know what I mean? Because martial arts is not easy, man. It's not easy.
It's the hardest thing I've ever done.
Amen.
And it's the hardest thing. It's the most financial, disturbing, you know what I mean? It's like there's so many different things, but from you have a passion and you understand people are depending on you. You know what I mean? This is life learning skills every day. You learn something new every day. With all this COVID stuff that's going on, the pandemic holding people in, so much mental health reasons and stuff like that. It's like You guys are the outlet. We are the outlet. You know what I'm saying?
Amen.
And you have to, you guys have to, people out there, you guys have to give coaches and instructors and masters, the ones that are real though, give them, you know, give them the benefit of the doubt and link them up, man. Show them how much they've done for you or how much you appreciate them. I had students, and I'm going to talk about this right now, right? I got students who passed through my hands, thousands, you know, and I try to be cool with everybody. Don't forget where you started. Don't forget where you're coming from. Because if it wasn't, whether you were with me or with these guys and you moved on to bigger and better things, we will always be, the foundation is what made you be who you are today. I had students
100.
that, you know, yeah, you know what I mean? I have students who I trained for many years and they leave because they weren't happy with certain things, but that's okay. You won't be the first, you won't be the last. I made you, I can make others. I always have love and respect for you guys. Always. Because once a student, always a student.
Amen.
You know what I mean? And I got to big up my master.
Once a coach, always a coach, yeah.
And I got to tell him straight up, you know what I mean? If it wasn't for you, sir, you know, Master Wright, I wouldn't be the man that I am today. I'd probably be dead or in jail. But you gave me a reason for me to be the person that I am. Also for me to carry on your legacy and continue to teach. Because that's what a master really wants, you know.
Amen.
You know, that's what a master really
And martial
wants.
arts, the way you share it, it changes your life, you know?
It changes
Shout out
your
to
life
all the
and-
forefathers that have taught us everything.
100%.
You know?
But you guys have to listen, man. You guys have to big up Thicc boy. That's what I'm telling you, man. Because that's new. And I don't wear people's shit, but I'm gonna wear this stuff right
Well,
now.
let's big up all our supporters.
Yeah, before we leave, all our sponsors, Top Mutt Studios, Phallon the Great, all right, for all your podcast recording, skits, filming.
You guys didn't tell me this girl was so beautiful.
She's
you
the
guys
truth.
Go, come on,
She's
man.
the truth.
And she's smart. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, clever.
Yeah, there you go.
Who else?
Witty.
Just for Kicks, Kimura Wear,
Clinch Culture.
Mobile, Clinch Culture, Major Pack, Mac. I know you see me ripping from
Blessed
Kansas City.
Edibles,
Clinch Culture.
Bearded Bites,
Kangen,
Kangen
Just for
Water,
Kicks,
and Dog Pound MMA.
and Gas Tank. We got something big coming with Gas Tank soon. So, well, guys, I'm Tyson the Beast.
I'm the Balkan Boy.
I'm the master of disaster.
And this is Thicc Boy Fight Club.
Peace.